Here's some thoughts too, is resilience and emotional intelligence are like hand and glove. They are
Yes.
so related, intertwined. And here's the deal. You guys all know, all you entrepreneurs, man, resilience is like, if there is anything that entrepreneurs need to have in spades, is resilience. And again, resilience and emotional intelligence are directly proportional. Not inversely proportional, they're directly proportional. The healthier you get emotionally, the more intelligent you get emotionally, the greater your resilience, the greater your resilience. And this is an absolute
Yes.
critical skill as an entrepreneur to develop. And the beautiful thing is, it is something that you can develop. Welcome to the EQ for Entrepreneurs podcast. Like most business owners, you already know you need good business and marketing strategies to scale and be profitable. But at some point, you've hit the dreaded wall where you feel stuck and frustrated. EQ for Entrepreneurs is for business owners and leaders who are honest enough to admit that they just might be the ones holding their business back and are brave enough to change that.
We're Noble and Kathy, and every week we're having candid conversations about all things emotional intelligence and how growing that has allowed us to get out of our own way and is radically transforming both our businesses and our personal lives. This is the secret sauce strategy for modern entrepreneurs who are tired of hustling without seeing results and want to grow a business and a life that they love.
Entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers, welcome to today's episode of
EQ for Entrepreneurs. So today we are giving you strategies for resilience. 5 strategies on how to have resilience as an entrepreneur, an influencer, a leader in times of crisis and chaos. And just so you know, we've created a very special PDF download for you. If you go to eqforentrepreneurs.com/19, the number 19, you'll be able to get it there. We have taken these 5 strategies that we're going to be teaching you today and created a workbook, kind of a workbook for you so that you can work through this, because this is so important. At the time of this recording, we are in the middle of week 2 here in the U.S. of I don't know, we're social distancing because of the coronavirus that's going around, and everything that we are hearing from other entrepreneurs, from other business owners, is everybody's wondering what's going on. It's a time of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of unknown right now. People aren't sure, should I continue building my business? Should I pivot? Should I just stop? A lot of people who have brick and mortar businesses, they've been forced to shut down, right, by the government because of concerns over the coronavirus. So resilience right now is the thing that we want. We want more than anything for you as an entrepreneur, for you as a leader, to have, because this skill is going to be the thing that's going to get you through, and it's going to be the thing that's going to help you come out on the other side even better for having gone through the experience. That doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by accident, but it happens for people who are able to learn and grow their resilience during times like this.
Yeah, and here's some thoughts too, is resilience and emotional intelligence are like hand and glove. They are so related, intertwined. And here's the deal. You guys all know, all you entrepreneurs, man, resilience is like, if there is anything that entrepreneurs need to have in spades, is resilience. And again, resilience and emotional intelligence are directly proportional. Not inversely proportional, they're directly proportional. The healthier you get emotionally, the more intelligent you get emotionally, the greater your resilience, the greater your resilience. And this is an absolute critical skill as an entrepreneur to develop. And the beautiful thing is, it is something that you can develop.
Yes. So here's a little bit about our story. So we have been business owners, entrepreneurs for well over 20 years, going on 22 years. So that means we have been business owners. This is not our first crisis. As business owners, we have been through Y2K, that craziness. We have been through September 11th. And he was in the military, or had just gotten out of the military. We lived in a military community when all of that happened, which had a huge effect on our business. We went through the 2008 stock market crash, right? So this is kind of the fourth big one. And those are just the things that were happening in the world outside of us. That's not even talking about the things in our own personal life or in our family life that we had to be resilient through, right? We've got a list of those. So just know, I guess the thing that I want to tell you is from two people who have been there, who have had to go through this kind of thing before, you're going to make it. If there's no guarantees, right? You're going to make it if you learn some of these skills, if you learn these skills called resilience and kind of what resiliency entails.
And here's the other thing too that I want to just encourage you all with, or I guess a reality check is, as an entrepreneur, and I've made this analogy in a number of the other episodes, an entrepreneur is very akin to being a UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, mixed martial arts fighter that, you know, an MMA guy walks in the ring, or MMA lady, whatever, walks in the ring, they are not shocked or surprised or baffled that they just got punched in the face. Right. That is part of an MMA fighter's journey. It is part of a fighter's journey to get punched in the face, to get kicked in the head. That's the same with an entrepreneur. So resilience, again, is part of, should be a necessary, critical component, arsenal, weapon, tool to have in the kit bag for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
This concept of resilience. And if you don't have it, allow these times to develop your resilience. That's the beautiful thing about crisis and adversity and throat punches, face punches, kicks to the head. You can use those as opportunities to grow your resilience.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing. We all just kind of, here's our big reality check as entrepreneurs in the middle of a crisis right now, is we have to realize that everything is changing. Okay, so yes, eventually the coronavirus, it will kind of just pass. It's going to do what it's going to do, right? I don't know how long it's going to take, but it will eventually, this too shall pass, right? But our world is going to be changed forever. Things are never going to get back to exactly the way that they were before this all happened. That's just the nature of massive scale crisis and change. It's going to be different. I can't predict, I don't think any of us can predict exactly what it's going to look like. But if we have resilience, it doesn't matter what it looks like. We can adapt and we can come out on top and we can succeed regardless of what it looks like. So that's why this skill is so important, because if we're clinging to, no, it has to be this way, we're going to suffer. And if anybody, as entrepreneurs, we have to be able to adapt. We have to be able to see change coming, to adapt, and to continue growing in new environments. So let me start with,
let me do one more thing. Two other cousins to resilience that maybe we'll talk about more in depth in future episodes is mental emotional agility and mental emotional capacity. Mm-hmm. Resilience is very closely related to capacity and agility. Yeah. And again, as an entrepreneur, those are also two other very important components that you need. As I would say, as part of resilience as well.
Yeah, maybe we should do that as our next episode, is agility. All right, so here's the definition for resilience, okay? Let's just start with defining it. Resilience is the ability to mentally or emotionally cope with a crisis and to be able to return to pre-crisis status quickly. Okay, so now, will your business necessarily return to exactly the way it looked like before the crisis? Maybe not. It might change. It might evolve. That's fine. But for you as the owner, for you as the entrepreneur, as the leader, okay, how are you coping mentally and emotionally with the crisis? And how quickly can you bounce back from getting knocked down, for instance, or whatever happens. And like we said, the good news is you can learn how to do this. You can grow your resilience, and not just can you need to. Now more than ever, entrepreneurs and leaders, we have to grow in this area. So we've got resilience broken down into 5 strategies. Okay, so these are 5 things you can do, and you can do them today, and you can start seeing results today from these 5 strategies.
Yeah, and let me say this before we jump into it is I just also want to continue to encourage you all that you as an entrepreneur, in my opinion, are better equipped and prepared for uncertainty and adversity than probably just about anybody else on the planet.
Yes.
Because as an entrepreneur, you are used to uncertainty, you are used to figuring it out, you're used to jumping off the cliff and building your parachute or your airplane on the way down without the path neatly lined up. It's almost like entrepreneurs are, and here's the deal, who takes the most advantage of uncertain times, of challenges, of valleys? Entrepreneurs do. So I want to encourage you all, you have what it takes inside of you to overcome, to figure it out, to solution seek, to problem solve, to adapt, to create whatever you need to do to stay in the fight, to stay in business, to again create something new, adapt, overcome, that kind of thing. You have got those skills, talents, and abilities inside you, and hopefully through this journey that we're going to go through together, this emotional intelligence journey, we will help bring that out of you, bring more out of you to maximize your to maximize your skill sets, your gifts, your talents, your superpowers to the world.
Yes, I could not agree more. That was awesome, babe. That was awesome. Okay, let's hit it. Strategy number 1, maintain your balance in your life during crisis. Try to maintain some form of balance during crisis. Maybe another way of saying balance is normalcy, right? And I know that is hard when nothing seems normal. It's like we've all been shaken in a snow globe, right? Like coronavirus picked up the world and shook the snow globe, and nothing seems right and nothing seems normal. But I want to encourage you to create some normalcy. And there's a couple ways to do that. Number 1, think back over your life. Think back, because this is not the first hard thing that you've been through in your life. I'm certain of it. Maybe this is the biggest thing, right, that's affected our world, but this is probably not the first hard thing you have been through. So think back over things that you've already gone through and you've survived, and ask yourself, well, what helped you get through that? Right? What were some things that you relied on, or what are some things that you did? How did you grow through that? How can you use that experience to help you now? So sometimes looking back can remind you, oh my goodness, no, I remember I did this and this helped me so much, or whatever. So go back and learn from those things and learn, okay, well, I know I need to do this because this got me through that time. And then second thing is, how are you taking care of you? Okay, so when it comes to creating normalcy, how are you taking care of your health through this crazy time? How are you taking care of your home through this crazy time? How are you taking care of your personal hygiene? Are you living in the same pajamas for 5 days on end without washing your hair, right? For instance, look at your morning routine. Has your morning routine gone by the wayside? Your evening routine? All of those things. Because I know for me, the first week when all this stuff hit, it's like everything went out the window. Everything went out the window for me. I wasn't working on our business. I wasn't like taking care of myself. It was just kind of, I felt like I was in survival mode. And I finally had to say, okay, this has to stop because I felt totally out of control. I felt anxiety was mounting. I didn't feel good. I didn't want to create. I wasn't in creative mode or anything like that. And all I saw was problems. And so I had to say, okay, whoa, let me stop this here. I got to get some normalcy back in my life. And just starting to do that makes you feel better. And when you feel better, emotionally and mentally, everything gets easier.
Here's another way to say it. Another way to say it is control what you can control. Right now, can we control the impact and reach and severity of the coronavirus and what the government's going to do, what they're not going to do. No, we can't control that. We can control what we can control, our actions, our attitude. So how can you, in your little corner of the world, your piece of the world, what systems can you either maintain or create? What processes can you either maintain or create? Again, with your PT, with your spiritual life, with your family life, what systems can you put in place that you all can control as an individual and as a family to maintain, like Kathy said, some normalcy, some control in your life that will do a tremendous amount to help with the resilience that you're able to maintain and or develop.
Because what that does is that lessens the chaos, right? Let's lessen the chaos. We don't need to add chaos on top of chaos. So do what you can to lessen and not create any additional chaos in the midst of what's going on. Okay, number 2, protect your mental health. Oh my gosh. So important. Protect your mental health. Okay, so start by acknowledging how you're feeling. Okay, just start there. And because what happens is everybody's got stress and anxiety, right? And if that stress and anxiety is just allowed to just simmer right beneath the surface of your being, it feels like it's just kind of like right here simmering, like that's not good. That will derail you. That doesn't result in anything positive. But if you sit down and say, okay, well, what am I feeling right now? Well, I'm feeling out of control. I'm feeling uncertain. I'm feeling afraid. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling, right? All these things. Now you've given it a name. And it's almost like just by acknowledging it, you take away some of the power.
And there's actually a physiological reason why that is. So that's a physiological thing that we can take advantage of with how our brains work. I'm not a neuroscientist or anything like that, but a number of the books I've read where there are neuroscientists and folks that talk about this stuff have shared that our brains are wired, are designed for organization. They are masters of filing and organization and labeling. So when the brain is not able to file or organize or label something, it's just floating. It's causing tension, energy, anxiety, stress. When the brain can't put its finger on something and stick it somewhere where it's supposed to be labeled, it causes stress the more it just bounces around. So as soon as you can identify what you're feeling, name what you're feeling, already that alone, boom, okay, it's frustration. Oh, it's overwhelmed. Oh, it's fear. Oh, it's anxiety. Oh, it's stress. It's depression. It's unfulfilling. It's insignificance. It's whatever that emotion is. Now your brain, oh, got it. Now it can start to organize and file. Now there's more steps that we recommend as well, but there is a physiological reason why it's important to identify and name, acknowledge, identify and name what you're feeling.
Right. So are you feeling fear about health? Are you feeling uncertain about your business? Are you feeling fear about finances and the future? Maybe it's concern for your loved ones or the country as a whole. What's going to happen with the country? Maybe it's fearing the inevitable changes that are coming for all of us. The fear of the unknown. None of us know what those are going to be right now.
Let me say this too, babe, real quick. So another huge piece of this puzzle is, and now this is a great time to do it because a lot of us maybe you may have more time to reflect. Reflection time. Schedule reflection time. For me, as a professional avoider, who for literally the majority of my entire life, I have every time I'd feel something, I would immediately avoid. I'd push away. I'd do the old Heisman Trophy, avoid that feeling or emotion. And again, that's very, very unhealthy to do, especially when you string that over the course of years and decades. So schedule reflection time so that so that your brain can do some work on thinking through this stuff, acknowledging what you're feeling. Because here's the deal: just Kath and I, just the other day, it was yesterday, we had, or maybe it was today.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. We had what I like to call an intense family fellowship, an IFF, right? Where
We don't fight. We have IFF.
that's right. But that was the first time in a long time.
First in a
Well,
long
come
time.
on now, gorgeous.
It's true.
But here's what I didn't realize. I was triggered. Actually, we both were triggered. She triggered me. I triggered her. And I didn't even know that trigger was still in there. So you don't know until you give yourself some time to think through this stuff, because you may have heard that list, fear about health. I'm not afraid of health. I'm not afraid of my business. I'm not afraid, whatever, right? Because you haven't allowed yourself time to think about it. Right? For me, I wasn't even aware of what emotions or feelings were inside, because I'd stuff them. I was a stuffer, a consummate stuffer. So anyway, just my point is, schedule time for reflection. Maybe 5 minutes a day, maybe 10 minutes a day. Some time when you're alone, you're quiet, have a paper and pen with you, on your phone, with your notes page, whatever, so that you can begin to do some work in this area to get some progress.
And one of the reasons why we talk about this in terms of taking care of your mental health is because this is one of the greatest. We talk about in our society right now. There's a lot of talk about self-care, right? And sometimes it's used in terms of a lot of different things. But to me, this is such an incredibly important part of self-care, is caring for yourself and your own emotions, acknowledging them, and saying, okay, this is what they are, and making space for them, giving them space in your life, because whether you are admitting it or not, or you're aware of it or not, they're happening, and they're having an effect on you, right? So that's the next step, is what do those fears, what do those emotions, what do all those things have you doing right now?
And something else, just real quick, a little, maybe in parentheses, if you will, is you matter. You are worth it to do this emotional work. For so many years, I was like, man, one of the reasons why I avoided, and again, this was all subconscious, I was not aware of any of this stuff I'm telling you. This was my thought process. I am not worth doing reflection time. I am not worth acknowledging what I'm feeling. I'm not worth identifying what I'm feeling. I'm unworthy. I don't have any value. So why do the emotional work when you don't matter? That was literally my thought process. I'm telling you guys, you matter. You are valuable. You are a solution to somebody else's problems. You have gifts, strengths, talents, and superpowers that you have been given, that you have developed, that are a solution to this world. You have something to bring to bear to this world. So you are worth doing the work to heal and be your best self.
Yes. And how does this all relate to emotional intelligence? This is all part of it. One of the strongest parts of emotional intelligence is having self-awareness. And if you don't have the awareness of your own emotions and feelings, that's a huge part of you. You don't have true self-awareness without that. So that's kind of how that connects. But so take a minute then and look at, what do all those emotions and feelings, once you've got them named and you've put them down, write it on paper. I encourage you guys, go to our website, EQforentrepreneurs /19, and get this document. This is like a worksheet to help you with this. Once you've done that, now ask yourself, okay, what does this have you doing right now? Right? Because our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings cause us to act in certain ways. So right now, does it have you stuck? Are you just kind of stuck like I was last week in your life or in your business? Does it have you immobilized by fear? Does it have you frozen, where you just don't know what to do? You can't move forward, you can't move back, you're just kind of stuck where you're at. What is this stress making you do? Are you stress eating? Are you stress cleaning your house? Are you binge watching the news constantly, right? Or just watching stuff on TV? Like, what does it have you doing, right? Do you need to cut off the news for a while? Do you need to cut off the TV so that you can get out of a mindless state and get into a mindful state of paying attention to you and paying attention to what's going on with you?
A buddy of mine, another colleague, another entrepreneur, he owns a business out of Arizona. He reached out to me today and said, dude, have you ever been in a spot where you just didn't want to do anything? And I'm like, bro, you have no
yes.
idea. So for, years, I have been in that spot emotionally, not realize. I just thought I was a dirtbag. I just thought I was a loser, a waste of skin, a waste of oxygen, not realizing that there was an emotional reason. There were emotional reasons of why I was in that place, why my behavior was doing nothing. Now, some people's solutions will just get off your butt, right? The military solution, right? Just get off your butt and just salute and execute, move out and draw fire. That sounds great. It briefs well, and that may last for 5 minutes. That may last for as long as your boss or your wife is around. But as soon as they leave, all of a sudden you're back in this desire to do nothing. Well, do the work, do the emotional work to figure out, man, what is it? What's going on behind the scenes, underground, that is literally giving me a desire to do nothing. My desire is nothing. There's a reason behind that. It's not, you're not a loser, you're not a dirtbag, you're not because clearly if you're an entrepreneur, you have got drive. You are in a very small minority of this country, and so there's an emotional reason that has you in this space. Do the emotional work to figure out what is it. Like, it's almost like an Easter egg hunt, or Proverbs, I want to say it's chapter 2 or chapter 4, talks about search for wisdom as for hidden treasure. So let it be a fun discovery journey of yourself, of why you're in this spot, not something like, oh man, I've got to do this emotional work. Make it fun, make it exciting, because you know that on the other end of this work that you're going to do is breakthrough, is victory, is hope, is forward motion, is progress, is results, is impact and influence and significance on the other side of that.
That's good. That's good. All right, strategy number 3. Take action. Take action. Action gets us out of our brain space. It gets us out of it shakes us loose from those things that have us stuck or have us frozen. So the first place to start with that, when it comes to taking action, is to make a choice. And to just say, I am making a choice to not stay stuck. I am making a choice to not stay frozen. I am making a choice to take some action. And I'm making a choice, like Noble said earlier, to control what I can control. And really, when it all boils down to it, there's only a few things that we can control. We can control our own actions. We can control our own attitude and the thoughts that we think. But that takes intention, right? That takes intention. So we can make a choice to continue to move our life forward. We can make a choice to continue to move our business forward, maybe in a new way. We'll get to that and how to figure that out, but it's making a choice for action.
Let me throw in a nuance into this point. Depending on where you're at in your emotional growth journey, and some of you are more self-aware, some of you are more others aware, some of your emotional intelligence is higher. For those of you all that may be listening or watching this, that are lower on that emotional intelligence scale, like I was just a few years ago, this take action piece, here's the nuance that I want to share with you all. It's absolutely positively okay to put in that take action piece to just do a base hit.
Yeah.
Not swing for the fences, going for a grand slam in your growth and development every time. No, a base hit is a W. Literally, when I was in a phase of my life, I call it the hell phase. I was in a serious valley, emotionally, spiritually, physically, every area, relationally, every area of my life, man, I was sucking like a Kirby vacuum. And I literally was like a vegetable. I didn't leave the couch for a couple of years. And literally this was my goal setting. My goal, I would go to bed, and my goal was, when I woke up in the morning, and I just said, when my eyes popped open, I hadn't moved yet, my eyes popped open, this was my goal. I had lied to myself for so many years as an entrepreneur, as a leader and influencer, to do, I'm going to change the world, I'm going to do all these great things, and did nothing or very little. This was my goal. This is how low I was. Okay, Noble, my first goal is I'm going to pull the covers off. Goal number 1. Number 2 is I'm going to rotate my butt and put my feet on the ground. And then goal number 3 is I'm going to stand up. That's literally where I was in my journey. So this whole take action thing, again, for those of you all that are maybe in a deeper, darker spot in this journey and maybe affected and impacted by this stuff, in terms of your resilience and growing that resilience, absolutely feel free when you're taking action to celebrate those baby steps, a base hit. And again, it doesn't have to be out of the park. Just that way you can start to begin to trust yourself and believe yourself again, where you start to believe in your own promises and commitments that you're making to yourself, not even to other people yet, just so you can start honoring and trusting yourself again.
Yeah, no, that's good. One way to do this, I'm going to come back to number 6 here. Like Noble said, it doesn't have to be big action. It could be, maybe you need to do something big right now in your business and you know what that is, and okay, this is the thing, but maybe it doesn't have to be big. But think of one thing, maybe 2, right? No more than 3. This should not be a list of 10. Okay, this should not be a list of 25 or 300. This should be a list of 1, 2, or 3 things that you could do this week that would get some momentum going again, right? It could be teeny tiny, like get out of bed, right? Take a shower and put on real clothes. That could be it. And guess what? That's good. Write that down. Let that be one of them. But figure out what taking action looks like for you, and then commit to doing those 1 to 3 things regardless of what's going on around you, regardless of whatever announcement the president makes tomorrow, regardless of the news that we get, regardless of how we feel, that, okay, these are the things that I'm going to do and I'm committing to doing them regardless of how I feel.
And here's something too, maybe you can even break it down into 2 things, personal and professional. Write down 1 personal thing you're going to take action in and 1 professional thing you're going to take action in. Not 87 different things, because that's how I used to do it and wouldn't do any of them. 1 personal and 1 professional. And in regarding the personal one, I would recommend a growth area. How can you grow? One thing you can do to grow today, because again, as an entrepreneur, in my opinion, like we talked about, one of the how do you spell entrepreneur? One of those ways you would spell entrepreneur is with resilience, right? With mental and emotional agility, with mental and emotional capacity. I would also include in that is growth. As an entrepreneur, almost by definition, you've got to be growth minded. Yes. So keep that in your daily food feeding regimen of how you feed yourself, is 1 growth thing every day and 1 professional thing every day to either maintain or keep your business afloat, or let me brainstorm on some business ideas. How can I tweak it? Let me give you a great example. One entrepreneur, restaurant owner in Chicago had this great idea that is keeping his business alive. The whole edict had been put out, no in-dining abilities anymore for restaurants across the country. Well, he's like, okay, well, how do I keep my business alive? So he, is doing delivery. Well, how can he? What's a unique way he can get his delivery business going? Genius idea, and he was doing it as a joke. Okay, for every delivery that we do, we are going to add on a free roll of toilet paper. Boom! His orders, delivery orders went through the roof. Just by that creative idea, let me add a free roll of toilet paper for every delivery, changed his game, is keeping his business alive right now. So what is your idea like that you can, my free roll of toilet paper? What is your idea? Be creative. What's 1 professional idea that you can add on? So personal, professional idea, 1 of them each, to keep you moving forward 1 step at a time.
And another way to think about it too is, right now, what we all have is time. Like, we have time, and we can look at that as a curse or a gift, right? So what are some of the things that you have been wanting to do? Is there something for your business that you've wanted to create or you've wanted to learn about? Do you need to learn about sales? Do you need to learn about copywriting? Do you need to, what do you need to learn? And use the time. Like, don't let the time will pass, right? It'll pass with us scrolling through our news feeds on our phones or social media feeds, kind of mindlessly doing nothing, or it'll pass and we can come out of it having really moved ourselves forward in some way. So really look at that. And like Noble already said, in a time when we all feel out of control, what can you control, right? So what are the things in your business that you can control? What silver linings can be found from all of this? Right? Because when we start thinking about it that way, we start to see things very, very differently. And when we hear stories like that restaurant owner who did that, or when we hear stories about, all the hair salons are closed right now, and you hear a story about, okay, so these hairstylists who they are not allowed to do their work, right? Or they'll have their licenses revoked, about how they're going online and doing tutorials on how to style your hair at home and things like that, right? So really looking at, okay, here's the quote. Here's the quote. This is from Napoleon Hill. In every adversity lies the seed of an equal or greater benefit for the mind that is positive. So if you have a positive mind and you're looking for the opportunity, you're looking for a silver lining, you're going to find it. You'll find it, right? Somehow, some way, those kind of things always show up. And, get creative. What does it look like? A lot of businesses are being forced to pivot right now. And what might that look like for you? In what way do you need to pivot? In what way can you do that? And can you see it as maybe this could be a whole new way of your business to have a new stream of income, or to go in a completely new direction? You just don't know.
A couple thoughts too that you can do practically. Make a list of all the things that you do have control over. What are some again, Excel spreadsheet, a notebook, paper, whatever you do, write a list. What are those things that you can control? So that's something that, again, just that act helps feel like you are in control. The next thing is write down, what are some creative ideas that you can do? What are some maybe creative YouTube videos can you watch? Creative TED Talks can you watch? Creative magazines digital magazines can you read? Anything that feeds your own creativity for your business, whatever industry you're in. Maybe it's in your industry, maybe it's not in your industry, that sparks an idea, like the salon idea with the ladies that are, or the men, women that have their own, beauty businesses, whatever. They could put together a course and start selling courses on how to do your makeup, how to do your hair, that kind of thing, and create a whole new stream of income that wasn't even on the table before. Yeah. So make a list of all those creative ideas that you can begin to pursue and read and research and podcast, that kind of thing, that you can do to help stimulate your own creativity.
And one way to help that is to really ask yourself, what do the people that you serve, what do they need right now? Right? So the people that you normally serve, what do they need? How do they need you to show up for them? What is something you could do right now that will help them, that will serve them?
One thing I was going to say when you said that last point, babe, is, or the one before that, what are the people that you've been serving? What do they need? What are their pain points? Yeah. What are their hot buttons? I call a hot button is defined as 5 things: wish, want, need, desire, or pain. Wish, want, need, desire, or pain. What are the hot buttons that your customers that you've been serving, what do they need? What are their hot buttons? And how can you maybe meet that need in a different way, in a different angle, in a different approach, from a different perspective, with your gifts, strengths, talents, superpowers, just delivered in a different manner, method, mode, model that can bring in another income stream for you.
Yeah. All right, strategy number 4. Remember your why. Remember your dream of, why did you become an entrepreneur in the first place? What is the vision that you have? How are you wanting to serve the world? Pull yourself out of your present, right? Because right now, the present is scary and unshaky for everybody. Pull yourself out of your present and start to envision. Again, remind yourself why you started a business. What was the dream for the life that you're trying to build? What is the vision for the impact that you're wanting to make on the world? And here's something that has helped us in some really tough times in the past, is to put yourself 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 18 months from now in the future, right? So fast forward 6, 12, 18 months in the future and ask yourself, okay, how do I want to look back and say that I went through this time? Imagine yourself, 20 years from now, talking to your kids or talking to somebody else. Oh yeah, the coronavirus, when the whole world shut down, or it seemed like it, do you want to say, yeah, I curled up in a ball and cried and my business crumbled because I couldn't get myself, together? Or do you want to say, yeah, that was really hard, but this is what I did, and this is how I changed, and this is how I grew, and this was the impact that I was able to make. So really put yourself in the future and look back on this time. How do you want to say you went through this? How do you want to come out of this? Where do you want your business to be? Like, imagine yourself 6 and 12 months from now. If you did some of these things, if you did some pivots, if you showed up for your audience as a leader and as an influencer, if you were like, yeah, I'm going to be my best self here and I'm going to show up for them in the way that they need me to show up, what will your business look like in 6 months, in 12 months, in 18 months, once the world has recovered and once everybody's kind of moved on? Where could you be for the, at that point for your business? And who do you want to be as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner? Who do you want to be? And imagine that right now, and now start being that person now.
And a perfect dovetail of that is and now that you've envisioned who you want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what would that future you tell your present you? That's a great journal to just jot that one down too. Do spend some time, reflection time. What would your future you tell your present you about navigating this time that you're in right now?
That's good. All right, strategy number 5, last one. And maybe one of the most important ones. I don't know, they're all important, but encourage or help somebody else. Encourage or help somebody else. The fastest way to make your problems smaller is to help somebody else with their problems. And guaranteed.
No, that's right. That's a great point. And these are all excellent points to help grow your resilience. A big factor, component of resilience is your own support network. Think about the times that you've made it through some very tough times in your life. Who is in your corner? Even if it was just one person, who were the people that were in your corner during some tough times? How many people would say your name when they reflect back on their tough times, that you were there for them as part of their resilient support team, their resilient support package, if you will? So going forward, whose circle can you be in to help bolster their lives and therefore be a part of their resilient support team? So that's another really big thing. I feel like a huge component of resilience is our own network. Now here's the deal: to have and to desire and to have a solid support network, you have to be a part of one first, right? It's the whole reap what you sow principle. You can't want something that you're not. Well, I want a best friend that loves me, accepts me, is there for me, is available, is present. If you're not any of those things, you've gotta be it before you can expect it. The whole, again, reap what you sow. So figure out maybe, and not 10 people, maybe there's 3 people, maybe there's 2, maybe there's 1 person. Start with 1 person. Who is 1 person that you can begin to reach out and support and encourage and bolster during this time? Pray for, right? Who was 1 person, 2, 3 people that you could begin to be that for them consistently, maybe regardless of how they respond or react. Just sow those good seeds of support and encouragement and edification and just being available. Just tell them, hey, I just want to let you know I'm praying for you. Hey, just read a good verse, thought it may encourage you. Hey, read a great quote, thought it may encourage you. Hey, watch this YouTube video that really encouraged me, inspired me, thought it may help you out. Oh, hey, man, I watched this TED Talk or this podcast. Man, I thought of you, thought it may encourage you.
The thing that we want you to know is that hard times don't have to break you. Okay, hard times don't have to do you in. Hard times don't have to put you under, right? Hard times, they are what they are, and we get to choose what we do with that. We get to choose how we go through that. We get to choose how we come out of it. We get to choose what it looks like on the other side. And that is resilience, right? That is resilience. And the more you do it, it's like a muscle. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it, okay? So even if right now you feel like, okay, I'm going to try this resilience thing. I'm going to do some of these things, but I don't know if I'm going to do very good, and it doesn't feel like it's working. I promise you it's working. You just have to keep going. You have to keep lifting the weight. You have to keep practicing it. You have to keep trying it and doing it over and over again. And I promise you it's going to pay off.
And I share some other thoughts and some other practical ideas and tips in one of the other episodes. It'll be entitled Resilience and How Do You Grow Your Resilience. Just some of the personal reflections that I was doing that also will share some ideas and thoughts and practices, best practices that may help inspire and encourage you. And if you have found this to add any value to you, man, please, we'd love it if you would comment and share your thoughts. What have you done to grow your resilience? Review. If you're listening to this on EQ for Entrepreneurs podcast, please review. Share some comments of what your takeaways have been. If you're watching on YouTube channel, the Facebook group, we'd love to hear your thoughts of how you're growing, how resilient you feel you are, what has led to your resilience. And but just thank you so much. We love being a part of this journey with you guys. Any other additional comments here? So if you, again, for that notes page, if you want to go to eqforentrepreneurs.com/19 or 19, you'll be able to download that journal entry that you'll be able to fill in some great stuff there. Also, if you want to join our community of other entrepreneurs who know that emotional intelligence is critical, please join our EQ for Entrepreneurs podcast Facebook group. If you have any questions about emotional intelligence or anything about the journey, go to eqforentrepreneurs.com/ask-away. You can check out our YouTube channel at EQ for Entrepreneurs. And again, the links will be in the show notes. We are so excited again to be a part of this journey with you all so that we can grow emotionally, in our health, emotional health and fitness, so that we can be the best entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers that we were called to be, so that we can change this world by changing your world, by changing you.